The Polynesian Islands are located in Oceania, which is in the South Pacific Ocean. It consists of 5 archipelagos that together are the size of 1/3 of Connecticut. The climate is tropical but moderate, and the terrain includes a mix of rugged high islands and low islands with reefs. These characteristics are often featured in myths, with things like tropical storms and a close proximity to the ocean and other islands. The first people to live in Polynesia were called the Maori people, and they called the land they lived in Aotearoa, which meant long white cloud. These people are considered to be a subset of the sea-migrating Austronesian people that can be traced back to the Malay archipelago. In the beginning, there was nothing but an idea. The idea was remembered. It became conscious. Finally, it became a will to create. From that came the deep, dark, gloomy night, and from the night came life in the form of the sky, called Father Rangi. Father Rangi created the moon and the sun. He threw them into the dark, gloomy night to light up the universe. Now there was night and day. Father Rangi lived with Mother Papa, the earth. They were in love and clung together with no light between them. They had many children who lived in that dark space. Their children became tired of the everlasting darkness. The 6 sons met together to discuss this problem. One said, "The only ways to escape the darkness is to kill Father Rangi and Mother Papa, or force them apart." 2, the god of war, exclaimed, "We must kill them." Tain, god of trees, birds, and insects, said, "No, it would be better to push Father Rangi away and let Mother Papa remain under our feet to nourish us with the food she grows." Tain's words convinced all his brothers but one, Tawiri, god of winds and storms. He separated himself from his brothers. He feared the loss of his own power and regrets his parents' separation. In defiance, he held his breath and did nothing. The first son to try and separate Father Rangi and Mother Papa was Rongo, god of the sweet potato and cultivated plants. However, he was not strong enough and gave up. Next was Tangaroa, god of fish and sea reptiles. He was stronger than Rongo, but still not strong enough. Third was Haumea, god of the fernroot and other edible wild plants. He too was unsuccessful. 2, god of war, was next and was confident in his abilities. He used an axe to try to chop apart the tendons that held his parents together. The blood that came from them created sacred red clay. However, Father Rangi and Mother Papa remained bound together. Finally, Tain, god of forest, birds, and insects, took his turn. He slowly used his strength, like a young tree pushing up from the ground, to force his parents apart. Very slowly, he tore the tendons, holding them together. He pushed Mother Papa far under him and thrust Father Rangi above him. So it came to pass that Tain freed all the children from their dark world. Tawiri, god of winds and storms, had sympathized with his parents' love for each other and had considered their attachment to be appropriate. Living in darkness was also compatible with the nature of his power, whereas living in a lovely bright world was not. He was jealous of Tain's success and feared that there would no longer be a place for him in this new world. So it came to pass that Tawiri hurried to join Father Rangi. The god of the sky and weather was pleased to have his son's companionship and help. Together, they worked to create many great winds and storms that blew north, south, east, west, battering those on Mother Papa with their blows. Eventually, Tawiri visited his mother's realm as a hurricane and surprised Tain by tearing up his forests with a mighty ease and left them broken and useless. After he felled Tain's forests, he then attacked Tangaroa's seas with great tides, churning whirlpools and mountainous waves, which led to Tangaroa hiding in the deepest part of the ocean where Tawiri would not be able to find him. Meanwhile, Tangaroa's two grandchildren, the father of fish and the father of reptiles, were arguing about whether they should take refuge on land or on sea. The father of fish wanted to take refuge on the sea. However, the father of the reptiles wanted to take refuge on the land. And so it came to pass that the children of Tangaroa were separated forever. Tangaroa became furious with Tane for sheltering the father of the reptiles and his children, and from that time on, the god of the sea has been at war with his brother Tane. Meanwhile, Tawiri was still thinking of revenge. His brothers Rongo and Haumea were next. However, Mother Papa came to their rescue. She knew that her other children needed the food that they provided to survive, so she hid them where they could not be found. Tu, god of war, was the last brother to be attacked by Tawiri. However, he was the only one who was ready for the assault. He placed his feet upon Mother Papa where they took strength from their mother. Thus, Tu survived Tawiri's strongest windstorms. Tu's victory caused Tawiri to give up his battle. However, when Tu realized that he was the only god with enough courage to stand up to Tawiri, he became very angry. All the others had either hidden or just accepted the fact that they were being attacked. And so he got his revenge as well. He attacked Tane first. He used the leaves from his children to trap Tane's birds and defiled them by cooking them and eating them. Then he attacked Tangaroa's children. He used the flax from Tane's plants to make nets so he could catch Tangaroa's fish. These too he ate after cooking them. And finally, he attacked the children of Rongo and Haumea. He made a stick from one of Tane's trees and a basket from one of Tane's plants, and with these he dug up and collected the sweet potato and fern root. And again, he cooked them and ate them. So it has come to pass that from the time that Tu conquered Tane, Tangaroa, Rongo, and Haumea, the warrior god has dominated and eaten the children of these gods of the earth and sea. To this day, the human family continues to eat Tane's birds, Tangaroa's fish, Rongo's sweet potatoes, and Haumea's fern roots. Tu has never been able to gain power over Tawiri, but to this day he continues to fight him. Before there was man, there was woman. Tane molded her from the sacred red clay, blew the breath of life into her, and called her Hine Ahu One, the Earth Maiden. She and Tane had a daughter named Hine Titunawa, the Dawn Maiden. She and Tane also had children, the first men and women of Earth. All was well until Hine Tatama asked, "Who is my father?" When she found out her husband was also her father, she was ashamed and went to live with Mother Papa in the underworld. She put a sleeping spell on everyone so as not to be prevented from going. When she arrived, a guard told her to go back, but she declined. She then noticed Tane was tearfully following her, and told him to return to above ground. And remember that all children will eventually follow the same path as she. This was how death came to all men and women. Hine Tatama was a mother to them when they arrived. She became known as the Night Maiden and the goddess of death. Meanwhile, Father Rangi and Mother Papa were still in love. Father Rangi cried so much at first that he created a flood that swallowed most land and people. The sons of Father Rangi and Mother Papa solved the problem by turning Mother Papa upside down so they would not be able to see the other cry. And this solution worked. Now Father Rangi's tears form the morning dew, and Mother Rangi's form the morning mist. Maui, son of goddess Taranga and mortal Makia, was a hero, trickster, and inventor. He was the first to think of using a barbed-edged spear to capture birds and a barbed fishhook to catch fish. He was much more successful at fishing and hunting than his brothers, so they didn't like to hunt and fish with him. One day, his wife was complaining about not having enough fish. Maui said he would catch more using his magic powers. So he created a magic fish hook. He wanted to fish with his brothers, so he found where they were going and hid there and waited for them. Eventually they came, and he revealed himself. They didn't want him there and tried to send him home, but Maui used magic to extend the distance between the canoe they were in and the shore every time they got close. They decided it would be easier just to keep him along. When they all arrived at the usual fishing spot, Maui said that there was a better place with more fish and better fish. So they kept paddling. Eventually, they reached the spot and filled the canoe with fish. They began to prepare to go home when Maui said, "Wait, I have to try my own hook." His brothers didn't believe him, so he took out his magic fish hook. His brothers still refused to give him any bait, so he used his own blood from a nosebleed instead. Then he was ready. He said a spell and cast out his line. He caught something and pulled the line, causing the canoe to tip. It was the home of Tangaroa's grandson. His brothers screamed for him to let it go, but Maui refused. So his brothers waited in silent fear. Finally, it emerged from the waves. It was a huge island with people busy with village life. Maui warned his brothers not to eat any food until he returned from performing a ritual offering to the gods. However, they did not listen and began to eat the fruit of the island. The gods retaliated instantly. The island thrashed about and became mountainous and difficult for humans to live on. Then Maui and his brothers went home. Maui's father praised him for rescuing the ancient land that was long ago flooded by Father Rangi's tears. He said that future generations would live on Maui's island and that he was a hero with everlasting fame. There are several cultural values that can be inferred from this myth. One is the importance of family relationships, which is shown in the interaction between the various gods and goddesses. Another is connection through contact. This is shown in the love of Father Rangi and Mother Papa. It was important that the two were physically holding on to each other, and it showed how much they loved each other. A third value is the connection with one's surroundings, and the impact and importance of each thing that is around you. Finally, it also shows the importance of certain items in the culture of the Polynesians. For example, the sacred red clay, which was used in face painting ceremonies. This myth also exhibits several of the characteristics that are common for creation myths. One would be the flood, which was caused by Father Rangi's tears. A second is the original state of non-being, because in the beginning of the myth, all that there was an idea. A third similarity is the explanation of abstract concepts, such as the creation of red clay, the creation of night and day, and the creation of New Zealand.
Maybe romance.